Moon gang. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, Moon gang? Hello, hello, hello. What a what a day we are setting up for as we get into close here. I mean, AMC trading at 37.62. Kind of looking at this breakout, we have a cup and handle going, not the best cup, more of a V shape, but you get it. We have the double rejection right here, rejection, rejection. And I was talking about this a little bit earlier of how a lot of there's nothing that special about 3790 besides the fact that it was rejected there before and it ends up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is what's special about it. But now we have the cup, which is one big U. The handle is where it comes down and we get a higher relative low. And then on the third test, we're looking for that breakout. And my test after that would be the intraday high at 38.71. And then we also know yesterday AMC ran up to 38.77. But overall, this is a bullish pattern. Does that guarantee a breakout and a run? No, but the odds are pushing that way. So like if you're I don't know, dealt pocket aces or two-face cards, like pocket aces in poker, two-face cards in blackjack, that doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but it puts the odds in your favor at least. So what we are looking for, as we have about an hour until power hour, from now until then, and then obviously also in power hour, we are looking for this follow through and a break. Honestly, it might just go now. Maybe I should keep talking about the cup and handle if that's the thing that keeps this pushing. I mean, I'll just talk about the cup and handle all day. Cup and handle, cup and handle, cup and handle, cup and handle, cup and handle. If I need to sit here from 9:30 to 4 and just say cup and handle, and every time I do it we go up higher and higher, I'll do it. If that's what needs to be done to get this stock to go sky high, fully committed. Sign me up, coach. I'm in. Sign me up. I am in. Man, all right. So we want this to follow through, the cup and handle breakout. In the meantime, just so you know, Palantir has been on a tear today. It's up 6.3%. They've announced that so shout out to the people in Discord who were getting me some of this information. It appears that they're buying some gold, just in case, I guess, as they said, like for a store of value. And they also said that they're going to accept Bitcoin, crypto, specifically Bitcoin, as payment for their services. So some interesting gold and crypto movement for Palantir. SPRT still looking strong. Shout out to Mr. Boulay, noticing over the past couple days that this is becoming itself its own giant cup and handle. So looking for the breakout of the intraday high at 880, looking for a fall through to $9. GameStop hanging out at 159, really not doing much today. GameStop not looking the best. I think Robinhood was catching a bid as we're going into earnings. It did. It broke above 50, but this right here, it really means nothing to me. All this is on Robinhood is people are jockeying for position before the earnings announcement. I don't know if it's going up or down, but the earnings announcement is tonight after the market closes. And following that, we're going to have a gap up or a gap down. There is no correlation between the trend right before an earnings and if that's indicative of getting the earnings right. That correlation, that pattern does not match. Sometimes it's going to be dead on, other times it's going to be very wrong. So really the movement, I mean, I was letting you know in my update video that prepare for some craziness, prepare for some volatility because it's the day of earnings. I'm expecting volatility specifically in Hood today and tomorrow, exclusively because of the earnings announcement. So the technical movement, I'm not really putting much weight into its importance right now. I want to know what's said in earnings. I have a feeling that they're going to come out and say, hey, yeah, we lost $500 million. We're a little bit concerned about this whole payment for order flow. It seems like we're really still pissing off a lot of people. And the only thing that's currently saving our company is the fact that mainstream media time and time again will go to bat and lie for us. That's why our stock is up. I think that's how it could go. Maybe I'm just being a little optimistic, but I just don't think it's going to end up too well. But let's see. I wouldn't recommend holding your breath on it, but maybe I'm coming off as a little bit pessimistic. But just so you know, I do own puts against Robinhood. I am looking for Robinhood to fall. So we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I believe I have Palantir in my long-term account long on it. Obviously, I have AMC shares. I have AMC call options. And then I also have SPRT call options just for the point of transparency. I could put GME back up, but GME is really not doing anything today. It's kind of like watching paint dry. Ever since 9:50 this morning, it's been between 158 and 161. So it's like a $4 range, really. 162 to 158. Yeah, it's been in a $4 range all day on low volume and hasn't even traded a million shares yet. I have no issue putting it up if it's moving. It's just right now we could always talk about things that are moving. Just the volume is weak. I mean, trust me, folks. I want it to go up. I'm in GME. Literally my own financial, I guess, success is somewhat tied to how much GME is gonna go because I'm in GME. I want it to go, but also at a certain point, I can't just be like, oh no, like the volume's fine. The volume's not fine. It's low volume. It's just not moving. It's not good or bad. It's just boring. It's just not really doing anything. Someone just said that the SPY is ripping. SPY. Let's throw the SPY down here. Ooh, the SPY just got a little bit. How about IWM? IWM also moving. All right, so things are kind of perking up here. Interesting. What about how's NVIDIA doing as we head into NVIDIA's? All right, NVIDIA, we're waiting on their earnings, really not doing much. What about AMD? AMD holding out at 105. Man, AMD taking a bit of a hit. Interesting. Might be a good dip buy opportunity on AMD. Roblox coming back. Wow. Roblox in 2 days running from 74 to 84. Holy guacamole, Batman. Holy guacamole. Tech is moving. Fed minutes. Oh, the Fed minutes came out. It is Wednesday and it's 2. So I'm assuming, yeah, the Fed minutes come out at 2 and then usually there's a follow-up discussion at 2:30. So between now and 4 p.m., there's a decent chance that we see more movement between the S&P 500, VIX, some bond stuff, which is going to be related to interest rates. So we could see some movement around there. All right, what else do we have? GME started this whole movement. Oh, it totally did. And I think it is due respect, but I don't know. I can't make the rest of the world trade GME. I believe GME 100% started this movement. Deep F in value, Roaring Kitty 100% was the OG of this entire thing. And the Wall Street Bets Reddit right there between GME, Wall Street Bets Reddit, and specifically Roaring Kitty, Keith, aka DFE, that's the people and the groups and the entities and the stock that started this. But just because they started it, that doesn't mean that's where the main thing is now. I mean, we can't. I don't know. It pains me to say that GME just has low volume, low volatility, and I want that to come back. I'm hoping that it's just a summertime thing, and I hope people get re-excited for it. But it's just not really moving anywhere. I 100% agree that all those things that I just discussed, they deserve a certain level of respect, but it doesn't change the fact that GME over the past couple weeks has gone nowhere. You apes need to understand that low volume in GME is ideal. You should be excited about it. I don't agree with that. I don't know why that would necessarily be ideal. I've seen some people trying to reason that it's ideal, and no, it shows me that there's like less excitement. There's less people paying attention to it. I wouldn't. There are some scenarios in which low volume is ideal, but that seems like a stretch of an argument to me, unless we're in like one of those very, very specific situations, which right now, GME, I think it's just suffering from kind of like the summertime blues thing. Like I'm hoping as we get closer to the end of this month, Labor Day, September, I hope people are coming back and If there's some sort of announcement, we might have a technical breakout around 168, run up to 175 as we slowly grind up. That could get people excited. They might start hopping on, be like, hey, I like the technical breakout. I'm going to buy it. And then we could see more volume and a follow through. That's what I pray happens right now. But obviously, we have to wait for that to actually occur. But I mean, you're kind of kidding yourself if you don't think that Wall Street Bets subreddit, specifically Roaring Kitty and specifically GME, they're the reason we're here right now. Very honestly, they're the ones who started all of this. So it is a bit weird to me when people in the AMC community kind of get on their high horse and say that other things are distractions when really it seems like it's almost a bit selfish because you're just saying that anything that where people are putting money that's not your thing is a distraction, when in reality I think the only people that truly have the right to call other things distractions are, I guess, these GameStop original OG members from back in really pre this calendar year. I'm talking about back in 2020. I think they're the ones who had to say that, but also, I don't agree with this argument of anything really being a distraction. But if you happen to be yourself an AMC purist and you're on your high horse calling other things distractions, you might want to take a look in the mirror for that one, because I do find it a bit weird. But like I said, my personal opinion is like I just don't buy this concept of really anything being a distraction. There's always other stocks. There's always other movies. There's always other ways to make money. So, but just be careful if you're throwing stones from a glass house there. Someone said, "Who is this?" James Shelton. AMC is a joke. No. I mean, AMC is. I mean, on the day, it's looking very good, and it's been doing very well. Like where the momentum's coming back. So you're a joke. I kicked a Greg out. That's the first Greg I kicked out in a while. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. SPY, yeah, that's what I said. You're going to see some volatility whenever the meeting minutes come out, and then the commentary from Powell. You're going to see some movement between the S&P 500, VIX, bonds, and gold. Meet Kevin needs your help. Cindy, what do you mean he needs my help? Cheez-It futures versus wheat thin futures. Preference is 100% Cheez-It futures over wheat thin futures. I would predict that wheat thin futures are going to do well. I just think Cheez-It futures are obviously way, way better. How are those hood puts going for you? I mean, I got them a while ago, so I'm still profitable, but I hope there's a giant sell-off and I get more. But Tyler, that's a weird one. How are those hood puts going for you? I don't know, Tyler. How's your trades going for you? I don't know. Weird question. I'm green. TLT Treasury bond is ripping. Yeah, that kind of makes sense with what's going on. Assuming just from what I'm seeing in SPY, I bet GLD, which is gold, is also probably doing something pretty wild right now. GLD, yep, gold running up, and then TLT. Here's the Fed for you, folks. So bonds, which is TLT. This is the 20-year Treasury bond. Then you have gold, GLDs, what's going to be tracking that, and then you have the S&P 500. Usually there are these types of weird, wild reactions. This one is, talk about a rug pull, though. It runs up, and then someone ripped the rug from under it. Rip the rug. It's Wednesday. What movie are you seeing this weekend? I don't know. So I've been going lately. I don't know if there's like a new one for me to see this weekend. I've pretty much seen all the new ones that are out. I guess I could always just go and rewatch one maybe. Dummip here just dropped about 2K Magic in gathering the cards at a shop so I can buy more AMC. But still, Cindy, meet Kevin needs your help. I still don't know what you mean with that. Does anyone know something? Know what's going on with Meet Kevin? I feel like I missed it. Should I check something out on Twitter? Meet Kevin. What's going on? Meet Kevin. People. Kevin Pathrath. What happened to Meet Kevin? Is something going on? I feel like I'm out of the loop. Or maybe it's just nothing at all and it's just a really strange super chat. Meet Kevin. Oh, there is a video that says, please help or I'm screwed in 48 hours. I don't know what it's about. I'll have to watch that. Could be a little bit clickbaity. Maybe it's something about the election. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. What else do we have going on in the social media world? The social media world. All right. Cool. All right. Let's do this. AMC definitely suffering. I mean, I bet if we bring up a lot of stocks this FOMC meeting, whatever's going on here, the minutes that came out, it seems like it's dragging a lot of other things with it. Let's see if we could actually find the exact information. I keep missing the morning sessions because of vet visits, no morning craziness. Not really. We saw the morning pump and then it came down, tried to fight back, and now we've gotten a triple top rejection. It looked like a nice cup and handle follow through, but then whatever happened, if we bring all this up, everything is getting hit simultaneously because of the Fed. Kevin is a multimillionaire and he don't need MK. If AMC blasts off before GME, I'm going to come back for you bros and sis at GME. No apes left behind. Yo, Matt, I sold PS4 to GME for 1 share worth. Got into WISA last night for 1330. Can I get your thoughts on the chart today? WISA. Summit Wireless. You got in at 313. So you're up. Congrats on that. I would just you have to use the risk point of probably $3 or right under that is how I would play it. I don't necessarily like this daily chart, but hopefully maybe you pick this bottom. And if this is the right bottom around $3, look for the follow through. Your first test might come around 380-ish and then maybe a follow through after that. But I'm not really in love with this daily chart. But let me go to GME and then let's see what the Fed released in their minutes. Let me bring this up on GME. Markets turning red. What is going on? Let me see. Here we have it. All right. Nope. All right, hang on. This is always. Here is what we have. Let's check this out. Let's see what's going on. All right, so why is everything turning red out of nowhere? Our answer is the Federal Reserve. Dow falls for a second day, losing more than 100 points as the Fed discusses reducing stimulus this year. Major U.S. stock indices slipped slightly on Wednesdays as investors digested the Federal Reserve's latest meeting minutes. Looking ahead, most participants noted that provided that the economy were to evolve broadly as they anticipated, they judged that it could be appropriate to start reducing the pace of asset purchases this year because they saw the committee's substantial further progress criterion as satisfied with respect to the price stability goal and as close to being satisfied with respect to the maximum employment goal, the minute said. We've talked about this previously. We know that they're not raising interest rates probably until 2023. The issue here is they said they might stop this buying of assets, and it looks like they actually might be doing that this year. The market's not. Basically, the best way I could explain it is the Fed, between keeping the interest rates low and doing all of this buying, this asset purchasing mainly through bonds. It's their policy of unlimited quantitative easing. And right now, even though it's unlimited quantitative easing, they're easing up on their own quantitative easing by stopping the buying of these pace of asset purchases. I believe it was quite a bit a month. I just read the number. I just don't want to mess it up. I'm surprised they don't have it in this, but it sounds like they are kind of lowering it. And so you're getting rid of the backstop to the system. So when there's not backstopping it of the Fed, we know that they're going to buy all the time. This is the kind of reaction that you're going to get. The market's coming down. S&P 500. Let me throw up gold. How is gold reacting to this? GLD, if it ever loads. Actually, let's bring up TLT. Let's bring up bonds instead. So bond shot up, holding a little bit better, but it's this announcement obviously prompting volatility. Since the July meeting, there's been growing support within the Fed to announce a tapering in September, and beginning in October, the 10-year Treasury yield inching slightly higher today to 1.27%. What else do we have? Target beat. Meanwhile, Pfizer shares gained and Moderna stock traded off its lows after the U.S. announced it would begin distributing COVID-19 booster shots next month. New data shows vaccine protection wanes over time, U.S. according to top U.S. health officials. This is from Jim Paulson, chief investment strategist at the Leuthold Group, however you say that. The stock market is way overdue for a correction. COVID cases continue to spike, higher, darkening economic reopenings. Consumer data shockingly has collapsed recently. Several stocks have stopped reacting positively to good earnings. Inflation reports remain hot. The Federal Reserve taper talk is everywhere. So that's what's going on. Federal Reserve tapering off their asset purchases. And I want to say it was around 120 million a month, but let me just double check that number for you. Fed. That's what I think they're tapering from. What is this one? In response to the economic impact of COVID-19, the Federal Reserve cut short interest rates to zero on March 15th, 2020, and restarted its large-scale asset purchases, more commonly known as quantitative easing, or QE. Since July 2020, the Fed has been buying 80 billion with a B of Treasury securities and 40 billion of agency mortgage-backed securities, MBS, each month. That is a lot. So basically, they're taking their foot off the gas of how much they're purchasing per month. That's what the tapering is. And obviously, the market is not the biggest fan of tapering because they like that. They like the policy of unlimited quantitative easing. So it does sound like maybe it's a little bit early. A lot of people thought it would be announced in, from what I'm reading, they thought it would be announced in September and go into effect in October. But according to these minutes, and I think Powell speaks in about 5, usually they speak about a half hour after the minutes are up. J. Powell speech. Where are they going to talk? March 17th. Usually they talk about a half hour, so that would be 2:30 Eastern, or other words, in about 6 minutes. Let me see, Powell. All right, is he talking today? All right, what else do we have? Federal Reserve preparing for a taper this year, July minute show. All right, we have that. The FOMC voted at the meeting to keep short-term interest rates anchored at zero, while also expressing optimism about the pace of economic growth. While the market is expecting tapering soon, it still doesn't see interest rate hikes coming for at least another year or so. Futures contracts tied to the Fed's benchmark interest rates are pricing in about a 50% chance of a rate hike in November of 2022 and a 69% chance of an increase the next month, as in December of 2022. So that's what's going on, but it looks like maybe a bit of an overreaction. Like we already have some bouncing back, especially in the Russell 2000 over here. I just thought the Fed would be speaking. Power lunch at 3 p.m. We don't need that. Quick links. Okay, yeah, if I find something about a live speech from Powell, we'll definitely bring that up. But the more you know, that seems to be what's going on. And I do like how not only the markets, but it does seem to be shaking it off relatively quickly, especially GME, or not GME, AMC. AMC, it was taken a little bit by surprise right there when we just saw such a weird reaction in the S&P 500 and also IWM. But look at that, already coming back up to where we were with our cup and handle, just below 38. Dow Jones, a distraction. Love your stuff, Matt. Just wondering if you were going to support GME after AMC squeezes. Looks like GME from 150 to 350. Just looks like the battle of AMC between 50 and 70 on the technical side. I mean, I am supporting GME now. I support AMC and GME every single day. I don't know what you mean, Royal. Just wondering if you're going to support GME. I feel like I do support it, so I don't know how to answer that. Will I continue to support it? Yeah. Look how many times yesterday's close, 37.16, became support and resistance. TA man, Craig Cray, shout out, not a hedge fund. 37.16. Oh, right where we are. Resistance in here, support, 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 support. Let's see this breakout now. Should I get my AMC shares off of Robinhood? I think so, but that's my own opinion. That is my own opinion. Dip before the rip on taper rumors. Sheep, duckling, cow. It's 120 million is small. Oh, sorry. Did I say with the tapering before? Yeah, no, this, when it comes to the Federal Reserve and their numbers, it's always going to be billion with a B. Sorry about that, Big Bob. It is definitely billion with a B. They don't really deal in the realm of millions. That's a little too small for them. Hood hater, Robin Hood hater. Oh yeah, I'm definitely a Robin Hood hater. They've gone out of their way to explicitly try to get more payment for order flow money in exchange for worse trade execution for their clients. Am I against them? I am outspokenly against them. I am unabashedly against Robinhood. Why would I like I don't see what's redeeming about Robinhood. They went out of their way to say, yeah, we'll do even worse executions if you can give us more money. Like that, those are the words from Gary Gensler, the SEC chairman. This isn't just like a made up thing. Like it's insane. They're a bad company. Thoughts on FSR, big energy play and future electric mobile options. Good time to get in. I'm new to charts. Ape Nation and holding AMC strong. FSR. Let's check out FSR. Fisker. I am familiar with it. I mean, if you think this is the official turnaround, you could risk the most recent low. I would feel a little bit more comfortable with risking 12 or even 950. There could be more downside, but for all I know, maybe this is it. Maybe this is as low as it's going to go and it's going to rip from there. But overall, I would be supportive of it in a higher level general sense because I am definitely going to be bullish on the EV sector, which is where Fisker is. So I agree with you. I don't know what time frame you're in, but if you have a long enough time frame, I do think it's a solid medium to longer term play just because I like the EV sector. Uh, WORX is looking good. Am I right or wrong? Could be a cup and handle if this bends back around. If this gets above $3.30, yeah, you could have the start formation of a handle and get that follow through back up to 480. Can you look at Nvidia? I wonder if it's a good chance to buy for long before ER. Also, AMC is going strong. Nvidia with it, I mean, it's not having the best day. I'm in Nvidia. I've been in Nvidia for quite a while now. But with earnings, I mean, you never know how earnings are going to go. You really don't. It could go literally either way. I don't know if they're going to beat or if they're going to miss on expectations. But for me, Nvidia is actually one of my easiest plays on any major dip. I buy some and then I just wait. I have no plans to sell Nvidia really this decade. I'm just going to hold Nvidia. But Nvidia, I believe, is reporting after the market closes today. The same with Robinhood. If you're thinking of switching brokerages, I would suggest doing it now, or you risk having a more risky attempt later when we're potentially closer to an actual squeeze. Yeah, if you're trying to get off one broker or start a new brokerage account, there is no time like the present. You should have done it yesterday. And if you asked me yesterday, I would have said the same thing. You should have done it yesterday. The sooner, the better with this. So if you are really worried about the brokerage you're on, start it right now. If you're listening to this and you have a free 10, 15 minutes, do whatever you need to for a new brokerage or anything along those lines, but pretty important. I want to say thank you to the dedication to the cause. SPRT looks like a great setup. Can you give us a SPRT rundown? AMC and SPRT to the moon. All right, let's throw up SPRT. I am in SPRT. I agree. I like the setup. This is the daily chart. Even a really, well, in its own way, a strange, weird cup and handle. But I'm looking for this to get above 9. And then I'm really going to be watching whatever this high is, 930. And then from there, if we get above 1070, we can then watch the high 11s. This one's interesting. I wouldn't say it has as big of community support behind it as AMC or GME does, but it has an incredibly high short interest, around 69%, 70%, pretty high short interest, very, very low float. So it has all the useful ingredients of something that could kind of go sky high. The only thing it's really missing out on is I don't know if it gets enough attention and social media buzz and people who actually care about it. But if for some reason it starts to go up and we get a technical breakout, yeah, there's definitely people who could get squeezed out of this particular play. They called us dumb money, so I typed my initials in the search bar and bought the stock. Dumb money. Shout out vegan. Thoughts on SWBI? SWBI. Smith and Wesson. Not looking the best. If it breaks below 22.75, it looks like it could drop all the way to 20. But that is support, so it could also bounce right off of it. But my point in doing this is you always want to watch the stock's reaction to these key levels of support and resistance. So I would very much pay close attention, essentially, to the reaction to 23 flat. 20, like give or take 25 cents. If it starts to bend back around, that might be a good time to go long. But if it breaks down, it might fall all the way to 20, which is the previous place it found support before this July. What's the best time frame to see support and resistance? Does it include full candle bodies only, or do you include wicks? Thanks. So it's when you get to that level of detail, it's more of an art than a science. You're looking for just general regions. Like you're never going to be like, oh, this is it to the penny of where the support is. It's the general region. And I don't think one time frame is better or worse than the other. It depends kind of on what time frame you're trading in. if you're a long-term investor, you don't really care about support and resistance on a 5-minute chart. If you're a day trader, it doesn't matter for you to look at support and resistance of a weekly, daily, monthly chart or anything like that. So I would say use multiple timeframes that are all roughly associated with the time frame that you want to be involved with the play. All right, we did that. I see a lot of people talking about BB. All right, let me look up BB. I guess BlackBerry is doing some stuff. Still don't like the daily chart. Looks like a weak daily chart. If it doesn't hold on to 47, this could break down even further. And I just don't know. I guess the risk is minimal because it's trading at 48, so you could risk $1. Maybe it runs up to 50.5, maybe 52. So the risk, oh wait, this is Barnes. Hang on. That's not BlackBerry. All right, this is a little bit better. Little bit. It's still, though, a very big downtrend. Still a very, very big downtrend. I do like, you could use yesterday's low, 948. Not too far away, a little bit less than $1. You are looking for a breakout of 1080. And maybe you run to 12. But overall, this is like all it did. It shot up, bear trend, down, and now it's just going flat. Like, I'm not really seeing much. The last time we had 2 green days, look at it. It's in this pattern of 2 green days, it falls. A couple green days, it falls. A green day, it falls. Couple green days, it falls. I don't know if I would count these 2 green days to be any different than what we've previously seen. I would want it more of a serious technical breakout. Can you check Ortex for NAOV and share your thoughts? NAOV on Ortex, yeah. NAOV. I think I need to remind people of this. Just because if something does or doesn't have a high short interest, having a high short interest does not mean it's going to squeeze. NAOV does have a higher short interest. It's at 22.89%. That's a pretty considerable short interest, but it's another one that I wonder if it has enough people who care about it. The chart looks weak. This is a very weak looking chart. It shot up 2 red bars. Looks like maybe it wants to fall to 250, but who knows? Maybe if all of a sudden people start buying, the short interest is there. But just because something has a high short interest in no way means it's actually going to squeeze. You just need to have a high short interest for the chance of a squeeze, is probably the best way I would recommend thinking about it. Am I okay with my shares on Robinhood? You make me nervous. I mean, I don't know. I don't work at Robinhood. I don't know necessarily about the security of your shares. What do you mean okay? Like, I don't think they're going to like steal your shares from you. I just don't want to give them any business. It's more of my own moral stance on that company that I refuse to give Robinhood any business. But I don't think they're so nefarious that they're gonna like steal from you. But maybe I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know how moral they truly are or aren't. I just know that for what we know about them, they seem to be highly immoral. But I mean, do what you want. Craig, can you check Ortex, please? I assume you're referring to AMC. A net return of 1.26 million shares. They borrowed 985,000, returned 2.25 million, short interest of 17.85% based on 60% coverage of legal, legitimate market volume today. 60%. And then when it updates at night, we'll get a bump up to 85% in the morning when this all comes through. All right, let me go back to what were we checking before? SPRT. SPRT. Kind of flat, kind of boring. How's Robinhood doing as we head in? Not looking good. I kind of hope that one keyboard warrior who was asking about my hood stuff in a very like negative tone. I hope he went long on it because I think he's going to get blown out of that position. Keep doing you. Shout out Captain Catbeard. Shout out, shout out. Shout out, shout out. All right, AMC gearing up, looks like for the fourth test of just below 38. We'll love to see this test and a rip. We're about 20 minutes away from power hour, so we definitely have some time. I mean, we have about 80 minutes. We know that these stocks can move quite a bit in 80 minutes, so pretty excited. Any idea where is Roaring Kitty? I mean, the dude is wildly wealthy now. He probably doesn't have to do anything that he doesn't want to do. I'm assuming he didn't like all of the attention he got and was probably like, you know what? I'll just take my fat stacks and live on a beach or something somewhere. I mean, he deserves it, man. Citadel sold a lot of shares last quarter. Could that be the cause of the ripping to June to the 70? They didn't have any synthetics or plan because of FOMO, so they blew their long shares. They sold about 500,000 shares, and we were trading like almost 500 million. Them cutting 500,000 did not have that run up at all. I mean, the volume, that's just such a drop in the bucket scenario. 500,000 shares when you're talking about trading over 500 million in a day, that wouldn't equate to a run up from 14 all the way up to 72 by any means. He's probably roaring into DFV is still holding. I'm sure he's probably holding a large portion of it. I would bet, but I also like, it's not like I talked to him. I like can't confirm that. I've never had a personal conversation with him, but if I had to bet, he is probably holding a good chunk of it, I would assume, if I were a betting man. Just bought SPRT. What else do we have? Greg's not welcome. Can we check Ortex? We just checked Ortex. DV has not sold his positions. He doubled down. He doubled down a while ago. Definitely a while ago. I don't know if we've gotten really any recent update from him. I don't know if we've heard from him in like a month or two. I would assume he's still long on GME, but I don't know his position in any manner. But I remember that he was doubling down. He would exercise a lot of his shares. He had a pretty considerable position. What is this? Matt Kohrs is a Greg. There is proof. Sure there is. Sure there is. Did you check out the crypto IRS article? My ex-wife, tax fraud attorney for IRS in New York for 16 years since we graduated law school, alerted me to it. So yeah, Devin's Law, I read it. We're talking about the ways that they're going to be able to look into some of your physical wallets. I read it. I'm thinking about how I can make some sort of weekend crypto video that includes that in it. But I think that was a very good article to read, and I appreciate you shouting that out. All right, we are good there. Shout out, shout out. Middle Earth, shorting it down to Middle Earth. Down with Hood, up with AMC. Roaring Kitty is a distraction from DFV. Hey Matt, been a part of the gang since February. I'm looking into AI trading. What platform do you recommend? I don't use AI trading, so I don't know if I would have the best input on that one. I haven't really done my own research. Trying to understand the Fed minute. Are they saying reverse repos will now be capped at 500 billion? The main takeaway I saw was that about the tapering, not necessarily commentary on the repo, but I didn't read through all the minutes. What is this? Matt, do you think the will pound down Friday to kill the call in the money? I don't know. Really don't know there. We'll see. I mean, because we know that there's more institutional money flowing into AMC. So as much as that's likely, the of them pounding it down to get more of them from more the ones that are in the money to actually be out of the money and expire worthless. I could argue that there's other hedge funds who want the exact opposite to happen. They might want to push it up. So some of them that are just barely out of the money end up in the money. Will AMC go plaid? If so, can we get some Tesla heads to get in here? Go plaid. That's funny. Bought 7 more. Shout out Flying Acorns. Can you look at SoFi? Sure. Let's check out what SoFi is doing. SoFi. SoFi is looking good. It's up 5% on the day, but its daily chart leaves a lot to be desired. It might be bouncing off of this support around 14, maybe. If it gets back up to 1560, you could be looking for a gap fill play up to 1680. That's possible, but man, this has just been in a perpetual downtrend. It shot up, downtrend. Try to make it back up, but a lower high, then got hit again. Try to make it back up, got hit again. It's not showing signs of a strong bullish trend by any means. But hey, this might just be the dip by then. But it's very close to some of its lowest values. But I do really like how it's at an important support. $14 seems very good on it. And if that's your risk and you're risking 50 cents for the potential of $10, the potential of $14, that's a good risk to reward setup. I just don't know enough about their business model to understand why it got hit so horribly. I don't think it's that much of a shorted stock, is it? Let me look into SoFi. But if you're a fan of the company and its fundamentals, I mean, you want to buy it on weakness. You want to get in when it's cheap, not when it's expensive. It doesn't have a considerable short interest. Its short interest is 5%, 5.6%. So it's not a heavily shorted stock. So I don't know if I would be looking at it for a short squeeze play. So this is more of like, do you like the companies? Do you like its fundamentals? Do you like the direction of where it's going? And if the answers to those are yes, well, oh yeah, obviously you want to get in on a discount. And in more of a short-term trade, you might be looking at that gap fill from what, about 4 days ago. So there's potential here. Maybe not my favorite setup, but I might like it more if I looked into the companies, their reports, and what they are or aren't doing. 75% of my AMC shares in Hood and want to transfer them, but just not sure of how that works with timing, access, and ability to control in the event of a major up or down move in the interim. Insight: you cannot touch your shares during the transfer, and that could take multiple days. If it's transferring, it's somewhere out there in the ether, and you have no control over it. So, Eric, I mean, you said 75% is in Hood. If you want to transfer out, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but most of these transfers, depending on where you go, some of them are done as quickly as 2 days. I think based on the amount of shares that are on loan right now, the squeeze itself, in my opinion, will be a multi-day affair. It's not like a quick, oh, you only have a 5-minute window to get out. It won't be that quick. In fact, it'll take longer. So if you start the transfer now, Eric, I personally think you're going to be good, but obviously understand that there is some risk in that decision because during the transfer, you cannot touch that position. You have to wait for the transfer to end. Charcoal versus propane, thoughts? I'm on a propane grill now, but I think charcoal is better. I do think it's better. I mean, something about it makes it more fun, but I am currently using propane myself. Someone just said it took 4 trading days for Robinhood to Fidelity. Other people said 2 days. Someone else just said 3 days. Someone said 3 weeks. But the person who said 3 weeks, I don't know where they were transferring to. If you want, you could not transfer, and you could just do all your future share buying on a different brokerage. Because remember, Robinhood, Webull, and any brokerage, no brokerage stopped anyone from selling at all, ever. It was just people who were trying to buy. But that's why you can get on another brokerage. So this concept of being worried about not being able to sell, could it become an issue? Well, of course it could, but in my list of things to worry about, it's so incredibly far down it, I just don't even think at all. It doesn't cross my mind. We have bigger fish to fry than this concept of not being able to sell. There's no precedent, there's no pattern of people stopping the sell. But coming back to you, Eric, if you really do want to transfer, I would just do it like ASAP. All right, power hour is in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Initiated my portfolio from Robinhood at 10:30 and everything was transferred over when I woke up the next morning to Fidelity. So I don't know. I'm getting like differing reports here. I never have gone through the transfer process myself. I just found it easier to just do all my share buying on a new app. I didn't want that downtime, and I get it. The argument there is that there could be certain tax implications, but it just, I don't know. I guess I didn't really care about it that much. Didn't really care about it that much. Your thoughts on BODY? In my opinion, great company and undervalued. Undervalued. Beach body. Well, if you think it's undervalued, I mean, it yesterday completed a gap fill and it showed a little bit of strength today, but it is also coming off of an all-time low 3 days ago. So maybe it'll eventually break out of this trend. You're definitely buying on weakness, which is an ideal thing to do if you like the company. You might know more about it than I do, but overall, if you're happy with its fundamentals, well, of course you want to pay less for it. You're shopping on discount. Propane for convenience, charcoal for taste. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. TMI just asked Charles Payne to join our fantasy football league. All right, what else do we have going on? Kelly Ripa or Charles Payne? If we were just talking about, I guess, life secrets, baking secrets, or whatever, all that, just Good Morning America type, like a Good Morning show, you got to go Kelly Ripa, obviously. But anything finance related, or judging from his social media, he also seems like a guy who he knows a lot about grilling a steak. So if it's like barbecue related or finance related, I'd go with Charles Payne. Matt, do you buy cryptos? Yep, that's why there's the crypto brokerage right above me, Voyager. If you haven't already, you should definitely download Voyager. And if you want to get free Bitcoin when you do your first $100 trade, it has to be in total $100 or more. Put in the code MAT21 and you'll get $25 worth of Bitcoin. So if you trade $100 of anything, including Bitcoin, you'll get an extra 25, which is a nice buffer to just be built in. But that's a phone app. So you download Voyager and then just type in that code. My name isn't Justin Gournate French House. I'm telling him I have on speed dial. Rich Greenfield or Charles? I don't know. I would just, can I choose to go against both of them? Normie pants. Tracy Bain chair. Tough decisions, tough decisions. Pretty sure Beachbody is a pyramid scheme. I don't think so at all. I mean, they sell a lot. I believe a lot of their revenue is just from their subscriptions and people watching their videos and that type of thing. a pyramid scheme is just bringing people in who have to bring in more people. And I know that's part of it, some of their coaching model, the Beachbody coaches, but I think a decent amount of their revenue is from the products they sell, specifically like those video classes. Kramer tweet. Look at Kramer's tweet. When everyone's telling me to look at Kramer's tweet, and I see a lot of people saying LOL. Kramer. All right, who do we have? Are the apes selling GameStop to get ready to buy Robinhood? What is this guy pumping, man? Who comes up with this? No one in their right mind. People who own GameStop legitimately over their dead body would they sell GameStop to get Robinhood, especially with like GameStop and what happened in January, and that one kind of at that time being the main one that they stopped trading on. They stopped on all, but like the sentiment at the time, everyone was watching GME, and it was absolutely crazy. No. I could tell you. This is so. No, what? I know you probably shouldn't engage with it because that's what he wants. Like, you only put a tweet out like this to get engagement, but that's no. What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's so silly. All right, what else do we have going on? Wait, did Charles Payne just join our football league? So the mass investor, Charles Payne, I have one more spot left for my fantasy football league with a bunch of silverbacks. The spot is yours if you're up for the challenge. So it's TMI, Trey, me, Review Dork, Jeffrey Forbes, Short the Vix, Maker Lev, and then Keenan. And he just said, put me in. I'm taking the underdogs each week. If he actually joins this league, that would be phenomenal. We'll just throw that a retweet. That is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. So where are we at? Where are we at? Franklin. Come here. Franklin, what's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Who's excited? Everyone was wondering where you were all day. Oh, what's going on, Franklin? You want to hang out here? You want to talk about some stocks? Franklin, you want to talk about some stocks? Franklin, what is your opinion on apes selling GameStop to buy Robinhood? You think that's realistic, Franklin? I know you might not have been invested in the market for a while because you are very young, but I still think you even know the answer to this one, buddy. Huh? You know it? Don't do it. We gotta be We gotta be professional. Franklin, we're running a show here. We're running a show. We can't do this right now. We talked about this last night. He just never listens. He never listens. Just chill out, man. Act like a professional. Just take a nap or something. All right. AMC at 37.29, GME at 158.77, Robinhood, which is allegedly being sold for GameStop being sold for Robinhood, which is an absurd, asinine idea. I wonder if that's he's just so, the things he like tries to pump and say and do, Jim Cramer, blows my mind. All right, let's do a quick Ortex check on this. Do a little bit better mic here. All right, AMC, there has been a net return of 1.26 million shares on AMC, short interest of 17.85%. Some people were asking about some of the other data points that we haven't talked about in a minute. Let me show you those. So here's the trend of shares on loan. With the craziness of this spike, there was around 139 million shares then. Then we came all the way down to 78 million. And now we're back up to over 100. We're at 106. So that's the trend of the shares on loan. I do want to show you the cost to borrow new right here. So the cost to borrow has been going up ever since August 3rd from 1.15% up to 2%. And so that's going up. And that's actually expensive, like relative to stocks in the market. That's actually an expensive cost to borrow. But just so you know, we've seen sky high values in May. I mean, we were looking at some values around 169%. So AMC has been a lot higher, but even now at its relatively lower levels, it's still high compared to a quote unquote normal stock. And once again, that's for cost to borrow. What else? A lot of people like to know the average age. The average age is now up to 46 days. So the average age of shares on loan is 46 days. So over a month and a half. Kind of impressively high, honestly, but that's been trending upwards ever since, what is this, June 24th? It was at 31 days. So trending back upwards. So we're kind of seeing this overall pattern of, let me map out various things for you. Let me go back in. Let's go to the 6 month. But if you can see, ever since mid-June to the end of June, when you look at the estimated short interest, the shares on loan, the average age of those shares on loan, all of them up, 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 and away. The other one I want to talk about, utilization, also been coming up. Utilization June 11th went from 78%, and now we're at 90. Previously, we're at 94, but still a very obvious trend upward. Once again, that's utilization. And the other one I see is the number of loans. The number of loans. So obviously that is somewhat dependent on size and everything like that, but the number of loans has gone from 715, and that's for like on day, the individual loans, and now we're back above 1,000. And really, I mean, the gully right before this huge run upward, that was at 1,000. Like we were actually above that by 100 a couple of days ago. So overall, a lot of these different pieces of information are pointing to the same thing. Mid-June to late June, all these things have, what are you doing? What are you doing? Have just been trending upward, upward, upward. What is this? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And Franklin agrees. This is Franklin certified information. AMC, for just my listeners, is at 37.27 right now. GME is at 158. AMC has had a volume of 52 million. That's good, especially because Power Hour just started. Ding, ding, ding. Start of Power Hour. We have about a little less than 60 minutes left. And GME's volume is low. It's at 1 million. And that is kind of picking up. You can kind of see some of these discrepancies right here. If we look at the last 6 months, let's get this off. You could just see how low the volume's gotten. This isn't even the run up, the big one. This was from March. I mean, some of these days we were trading 71 million, 28 million, 25 million, 16 million, 37 million. And then in the next push up, we were trading 15 million, 14 million, 20 million, 10 million, 3 million. And right now, some of these days, anyone that's like just below a million or at 1.5, like some of them are just pathetically low. So I kind of want to see it. And we've been here before. We've had some of these lower, 2.7, 4, 3, maybe not this low. But hopefully it just is a little bit of some consolidation, maybe just a period of consolidation, just the natural ebb and flow. So I'm hoping that this low, like eventually, especially as we get close to the end of the month, start off September, Labor Day, people are returning from their vacations. Hopefully we see some excitement returning into this stock. I would love for that to obviously happen. Thoughts on 445 calls for SPY, 820, just opinions. With that, you better feel very, very confident of your knowledge of what's going on with these Fed minutes, because between the Fed minutes, the Delta variant, and the situation in Afghanistan, specifically Kabul, there's a lot of things that will impact the S&P 500. outside of just the technicals. It's weird for me to give any technical breakdown of the S&P 500 right now when it's so driven by external factors right now. Should blow some new subs mind, roll back and show the world how far away the black wall really is. Oh, so this one, that was always a bigger one. This one isn't too far away. I guess it is. This is like decently far away. When But yeah, I think the way the camera lens is, it's a little deceptive of how far things really are in here. Whoa. Charles Payne tweeted he isn't in on the fantasy football league. It's so funny. Gonna crack me up. Gonna just crack me up. Whoa, Tiny Matt. Tiny Matt. Treats for Franklin. His treats are upstairs. I like to give him his treats right after we have some fun walks. While you have Twitter pulled up, tagged you in a one-chip challenge shameless plug. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I'm always hesitant to bring up my notifications on stream because you never know what you're going to get tagged in. And now my Twitter is behind. The one-chip challenge, I mean, I just think they're like super spicy. Yeah, let me try to find it. I'm just getting tagged in a lot of Kramer things right now. What else are we seeing? He's just looking for attention. Martin, I'm not seeing the one chip challenge. Oh, this is too funny. You guys are hilarious. Hilarious. Don't forget, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I was going to say we should stand for power hour, but obviously with Franklin, I might be sitting here for hours until he decides to get up. It's all up to him, though. At least, Franklin, at least remind me to have good posture, man. Good posture. That's the key here. While we're waiting, we could do a bit of some Tiblio checks just to see if there's anything interesting going on. Let's do a reload here. Let's see if there's any plays, any extra plays to check out. Nope, I wanted bull squeeze. The bull squeeze. All right. Big money betting on Walgreen boots. Big money being bet on GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, and big money being bet on BGCP. Let's check those all out. Let's see what's going on with them. All right, we don't need this. We should realign. Ugh, such a mess. Let me move all these. There we go. There we go. That's what we need now. All right. What were these ones? WBA and GSK. WBA. Let's see why people are betting on this. Walgreen Boots Alliance. Well, if you do it, kind of interesting. Not the biggest mover. I mean, all of this is still within a couple dollar range, so maybe not the most exciting play, but I do like it. It does look bullish. It shot up, it came down, it cooled off. You could use this recent low as some support, 48.62. That's okay. Like, I don't think it's going to be a massive mover, but it is a good looking chart. GSK looking very, very strong, and it has looked strong for a while, but it's almost so strong that I don't want to chase it. BGCP. Interesting. So does this one have movement on it though? BGC. I don't know. The MACD just crossed. I would want to see how it reacts to about 520-ish is where I would want to see that test. So I'm not really in love with the top three. Let's look at the bear squeeze candidates. All right, GDS, 98,000. GDS. GDS. So they're saying that this thing is just going to keep coming down, whatever this is. Technology, data processing. GDS, I guess a lot of money going against it. You're looking for the breakdown of basically 450. We'll call it 50. But someone out there is throwing a lot of money saying, no way, Jose, we're still heading down. And if you do go against it, I would watch 46, and then that would be followed by 41. But really, for the afternoon update, this is processing data like all the time. Like this was data valid as of 3:05. So it changes, but that's just for this current update of what is or isn't going on. Nothing that I'm absurdly in love with right now. But that's okay. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to sit around and wait the trades come to you. You don't want to be forcing trades. Clubfoot Billy, shout out, shout out, shout out, shout out. What about Bark? I believe Bark is about to do some sort of call with people on public, kind of like a, whoa, doesn't look good. What is going on? All this stock has done ever is trade down. I mean, pretty perfect trend line right here. Down, down, down. So on Bark, I would look for a breakout and a confirmation by trading above the trend line and maybe holding it for a day or two. But down, down, down. Bark. Why is it getting so? Does anyone know why it's getting so, I guess, just mauled? Like what's going on with it? That doesn't seem good though. Does not seem good. Why is my chat not updating? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, chat not updating. Chat. Shout out to the people viewing in on Rumble right now. Shout out, shout out, shout out to everyone listening on YouTube. I feel so much more comfortable that it's on multiple platforms. You never know when it's going to go. Shout out to Holistics. David's unbranded. Like you guys are creating a nice relationship with each other. Just the two of you hanging out here. I like it. I like it. All right, what else do we have? Did you get a duck? I did not get a duck. I am not. One time when I was little, we did own like 2 chickens or something, like baby chickens. And then they got big, and my mom's like, we need to bring these to like an actual farm. Just loaded up 11 more shares and looking forward to the liftoff day wearing my goose shirt, but not before getting my MK badass runner tattoo. Solo, what's going on, man? What is going on? Chatty chat. All right, we can zoom in a bit here. All right, come on, GME, show us what you can do. Show us why you're the OG. Do your worst. Robinhood falling. Remember, no one is selling GameStop to buy Robinhood. That is the most insane concept I've ever heard of, ever. But hey, that's what happens when you're dealing with all these mainstream media people that apparently have no understanding of what's actually happening right now. Vegas. It actually didn't. My mom's just like, these chickens are too big. He took your pets to the farm. Yeah, I get how that sounds even worse than it is, but I don't know. It's just that's the type of stuff you do when you grow up in rural PA. Sometimes you just end up raising chickens. It's just how it goes. Shout out, short the VIX. Apes are winning on AMC. This is from Unusual Whales. Strategy, short diagonal spread, bearish put. Bearish puts on VIX. So if you're doing bearish puts on VIX, VXX, that's saying S&P 500 up. When is, hang on, how do I do this? When is the Jake Paul Tyrone Woodley versus Tyrone Woodley? When is that fight? Is that this weekend? No, next weekend, August 29th. August 29th. So it's not this Sunday, but next Sunday, the 29th. And the latest odds for this are, what are the odds? What are the odds? What are the odds? Wait, Jake Paul's the favorite? Minus 156. And Tyrone Woodley's the underdog in current bets? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. I really don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not reading something wrong here. I cannot fathom why Tyrone Woodley would be the underdog in a fight against Jake Paul. Doesn't really add up to me. My son and I watch you every morning before school. He's 8, and I can't answer his questions. So for an 8-year-old, what does the definition of exercise mean for options? This is a great question, and I don't know if your son's listening now or if you're going to need to tell him what's going on, but later. Exercise means you follow through on the contract. So for example, a call option is a legal contract that you get 100 shares per contract. So for that one contract, it'd be 100 shares at the strike price. So let's say you have a strike price on AMC, a contract, a call at $30. So you bought that a while ago. It expires this Friday. Strike price 30, expiration date August 20th. Expiring or not expiring, on the date of expiration or before that, you have the option if you want to exercise. Exercise is saying, literally take my call option and turn it into 100 shares at the strike price. So if you exercise, you're turning your contract, each contract, into 100 shares at whatever the strike price is, not the current price of the stock. And that's why when you buy a call, if the stock goes up, that's why your call is in the money, because you're going to get filled at 30. So you could switch it all over to stock and you're going to get the fill at 30, not at right now 37.30. And then exercising on a put would be the exact opposite. That's your right to sell stock. Calls are your right to buy stock. Puts are the right to sell stock. So if you exercise a put, you would then technically be selling stock. All right. But just a lot of the times people don't end up exercising. They'll maybe exercise some and get some shares or take the profit and buy as many shares that they want. There are other things you can do, but with that, just so you know, that's what exercising is. It's following through on the contract, whether a call or a put, and you could do it onto all the way up to the date of expiration. It doesn't have to be on the day of expiration. It could be the day of, anytime before. And the fill will be at the strike price, not the current price of the stock. I see some confusion about that, so I just want it to be kind of clear there. I still don't know how to buy options, and I am older than 8. Hey, no, options are one of those things that I get it. There's a big learning curve to it, and it can seem confusing. What are you doing? What do you hear? What are you doing? But it's one of those things that I promise you, if you're curious enough and keep looking at it and studying it, one of the days something like one neuron. Oh, you leaving? Bye. All right, Franklin's out of here. Franklin's gone. It's one of those things that it's gonna click in your brain, and you're gonna have like an aha moment, and it's gonna be way better, and you're gonna be like, wait, why didn't I get it originally? I feel like that's so many people's experience with options. You're like, oh, like it just, even for me, I learned a lot of options from the guys over at Tasty Trades. They have Tom. Well, they're actually the people who made Thinkorswim and then sold it for TD Ameritrade for like a lot of money. But anyway, they are by definition expert option traders. So I would listen to their show, I would watch their educational videos, and I had to do it multiple times. And I had to write it down, and then I would like do whatever I needed to, and then I would have to write it down again, and then I would start playing with like a paper account to learn about it. But anyone is capable of understanding it. I get with all the numbers and the weird names, theta decay, delta, vega, rho, expiration, premiums. Like it does seem, I guess, intimidating, but it's really not as bad as I guess some of these traders would want you to think it is. Options are a high risk to reward asset class to engage with. But if you know what you're doing, some of the times I honestly think it's more conservative. If you get into the game of selling options, selling calls, selling puts, a lot of those are actually like relatively smart bets. And I think people should be doing those. And you keep your risk and your reward capped. And it's one of those things where, I don't know, there's a part of Wall Street that like really likes things to seem more complex than they are, so they feel better about themselves, as in like, oh, I'm doing something that other people wouldn't understand. And then that's why we have weird strategies like an iron condor, like that. And previously I've explained what credit spreads are, where you sell one call and buy another, or sell one put and then buy another one. I mean, that's what an iron condor is. Like, you just do both. You do two calls and two puts. You sell closer and then you buy farther out, and that's going to be what your profit is. And as long as you expire somewhere within that range. So before, when I've talked about credit spreads, especially with related to Tiblio, I've explained it as simply as whatever it is, it's two of them. It's either two calls or two puts. You sell the one that's closer and you buy the one that's farther away. So for example, this Apple call, this credit spread, you sell the 155, you buy the 160, and as long as Apple remains below 155 by September 10th, the expiration date, you keep all of the money, which would be $64. Well, if you want, you could create which is called an iron condor, and I honestly don't even know why. Franklin, you coming back, dude? Come here, come here, come here, come here. An iron condor would be you sell one credit spread with the calls, and then you would just do another one with the put. So instead of it just being below 155, well, you're saying I want it below 155, but I also want it above 134, and then you have an iron condor. And then they make up all these weird names. They have strangles, straddles, butterflies, iron butterflies. There's like, you just make up a name and you make it sound cool, and then you're an option trader apparently. It's just, but with it, they like to overcomplicate things, but I promise you, if you stick at it, if you spend 15, 20 minutes a day watching some videos, maybe messing around with it, reading it, trying to execute it with a paper trading account, if you give yourself enough time, I promise you will learn it. I think anyone is capable of getting inherently what options are and how they work, but I've been there. I get that they do seem daunting at first. So just, we want Franklin. Shout out to the chat. Play with option profit calculator. It will help you understand the potential profits and different strike prices and expiration date. Yes, I 100% agree with that. Check out, there's various ones, but if you just Google option calculator, it'll help you a lot. And I've done that before when you're sliding it and you understand it. Surprising. Now what do we have going on? Baxter? You know who has really good breakdowns is who was it? It was either, I think it was Fidelity. Fidelity had a surprising amount of education that I liked. Let me see if I can find it. And oh, here we go. This is really cool, I think. So shout out to Fidelity. So you can search the name of different option strategies on Fidelity. Like if you just Google Fidelity and then the name of the option strategy. So I just quickly Googled Iron Condor. And right here, how do you construct it? And an iron condor is actually 4 different options. You sell a call and buy a call, you sell a put and then buy a put. And then right here, I like how it explains it. To me, this makes sense. And at first, I know this will confuse you, but let me just explain it. price of the underlying instrument, as in what's the price of the stock. So let's pretend that this is AMC. So AMC 35, at 40, at 45, at 50, at 55. Like, this is your profit and how much profit you make based on where AMC is trading if you were to engage in an iron condor. And this is how you get your max profit, is if AMC were to be between, I guess in this example, 42.5 all the way up to 57.5, that's your max profit of $100. So over here, the y-axis is your profit and the x-axis is the value of the stock. And I like, it's just graphically, you're like, okay, this is what I needed in between to get my max profit. So if right here, this left part, that this down line and then the loss of 400, if it was just at 100, like if I wish I could almost like cover this up right here. If we just were at 100 all the way across, well, that's exactly what it would be if you just did a call credit spread. And then if this, a call credit spread would be anything, I guess, in this example, below 57.5. And then the inverse of it, a put credit spread, would be if you had profit all the way above here and all you cared about was it being above 42.5. So see ya. When you put those together, two credit spreads, that's when you have an iron condor. And I know I just threw a lot at you there, but it is cool. And you could check this out on Fidelity. It's free. I have a Fidelity account, but you don't need it. And then they go into the objective of it, the hypothetical like outcome. They give you some tips. It's cool. And you could do this with a covered call, a poor man's covered call. I mean, you could literally look up any major common name of an option strategy. And if you just throw Fidelity before it, this is a pretty good free resource. And sometimes they have really cool pictures. But yeah, this one, I mean, if you were just to explain it this way, no one would ever learn it. You would be like, what does this even mean? Of like, you would see all these numbers and you'd be like, hang on, like what's going on? Why are there four? What does it mean? Why do I see all these different sizes? How much can I make? How much can I lose? But if you distill that all down to this, of me saying if it's between 42.5 and 57.5, that's your max profit of 100. And then you have a break even point basically below 37.5 and above 62.5, your max loss is 400. And anything in between those two ranges is like the sliding scale of your break even point. So sometimes I'm a visual learner, so maybe that's why I'm biased towards this, but pictures like this make way more sense to me than seeing this. So when I started studying it like this, and then I listened to the commentary from Tasty Trade, specifically Tom's breakdown of these and how to think about it, blah, 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 I felt a lot better. But this is kind of cool because whenever you're selling premium, that's where the good trades are at, because the odds are on your side. Like theta is favoring you. Shark of Traders on Twitter has been doing live streams on how to use unusual whales. I've been learning so much from options from them. Highly recommend. That is Shark of Traders. I haven't heard of that, but I am down for anyone that's getting good, accurate education out there. Matt, I bought 50 shares of CYXC when it was a SPAC and received 17 CYXC warrants when it merged. Can you explain what the warrants are and what to do with them? Don, well, the warrants, like there's actually a warrant market. Like you could trade warrants, like there is another market for it. I don't want to get, I guess that's the best thing I could give for like a general overview. If there's enough questions about warrants, I can make a standalone video, but in all honesty, I don't trade them. Like I have traded warrants, but that's kind of it. Warrants are much, much more popular in the world of SPACs. And then also sometimes you're going to deal with them in the world of penny stocks is like the most common place to see warrants. But people who are watching SPACs and playing the warrant market on it, because it's inherently leveraged, make a ton of money if you make the right SPAC call. A ton of money. Are you going to stream Robinhood earnings? Also, I have to learn options. I literally put 10K into one stock and let it go up $1 or $2, then cash out. Hey, but if that's working for you, that's working for you. That there's no issue with that. I have no plans to stream the Robinhood earnings call. I don't even know if there is a webcast. Maybe I will, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Can you check out IPA for you? IPA. What is this? IPA does not look good. Immuno antibody. Oh, another biotech borrow pharma play. Not the biggest fan of this one. No, no, no. Not a fan. I mean, it's just downtrending and it spikes and then it gets demolished. I wouldn't mess around with this one. Jake Paul's physical structure is the definition of a baby Spartan, and Woodley would be a Smurf. Oh, is Tyrone Woodley not that big? He is 5'9", 170 pounds. 5'9", 170. And then Jake Paul is 6'1". How much does he weigh? Like what? Like 200, 190. Yeah, no, that's definitely a size discrepancy. Good point. Good point. Someone just said the SPY is fallen. SPY. IWM. IWM taking a hit. SPY taking a hit. So if you're wondering why stocks are going red right now, you really don't have to look too far. They're all taking a bit of a breather. IWM going down, SPY going down. The market is not liking the tapering of this asset purchases. In the money is also a good resource to learn options, very in depth and detailed. Yeah, I mean, with it, there's really not a person I know of that is putting out a lot of options content that I would be like, no, stay away from them. Like they're actually like very, very wrong. And that's hurtful. So it's more of just Google it, search it on YouTube, wherever you are. Just give it a good old Google and just find someone that they explain the way you best learn is probably the best way for me to put this. Of find a personality that you're like, hey, I like how they talk. This is what resonates the most with me. This is what connects the most. And find that creator, whether it's me or someone else. I mean, I'm doing this because I want people to learn more about the markets. I really, really do. And if I explain it and you're just not getting it, you're like, hang on, Matt, like the way you're saying it, just I'm not so egotistical that I think everyone has to learn from me. Find the creator that works the best for you, because the end goal is for all of us to learn and get better and make more money from it. Good time to go long on the VIX. Normally, I would say yeah, but if there's something I've learned over the past year and a half, whenever there's a dip in the S&P 500, within like a day or two, someone buys it right back up. We've never seen like the last legitimate dip was in March of 2020. Other than that, there's a day or two of red, and then it ends up just like kind of ripping from there. So there's just like a lot of whipsaw and rug pulls. So I don't. I would want to, but it's just the last 18 months has shown me that they're not going to really let the market fall. Definitely learn that. Well, now that Franklin's gone, we could stand up. We're going, we're going, we're going, we're going. Going, 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 going. All right. Oops. All right. Now we're good. Now we are good, good, good. All right. And I think we also finally figured out all the related streaming issues as well. Let me check. What are the KBSs at? 5,000? We're cruising at 5,000. Frames per second, 30. CPU, 19.9%. That seems high. That seems high. A lot of people saying F. Hang on, but shouldn't it be fixed by now? You're back. Even chat dropped. Did you name Franklin from GTA 5? No, I didn't name Franklin. Franklin's not mine. Um, Hang on. Other people are saying F, F, F. It says that the quality is good. Troubleshooting won't be here. I think it's all good though. If you don't forget, don't be hesitant to do a quick reload if you need to do it. I cannot recommend Tasty works enough for learning the most difficult options. It essentially has an options calculator built into it and it makes it look pretty. Just pick what strategy you want to use and it pops up. That's the Iron Condor above. Yeah, like I said, I am a fan of those guys. They have some really cool software. Tasty Works. Is that the actual name of that software too? Tasty Works. Tasty Trades at Tasty Works. It's cool. I'm a fan of selling premium. Lot of money to be made in selling premium. Lot of money to be made. Just speaking of that, do I need to sell any premium in my account? Let's see. Right now, for just my listeners, if you're not watching the video, AMC is at 36.90 and GME is at 159.40. Nope, I am already good. Already good. Good. Oh wait, how do we do this? Better idea. Light bulb going off. There we go. There we go. $15. That doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. Man, these are taking a breather right now. Look at this. Whoa. Whoa there. Whoa, Charlie. Okay, IWM and the S&P 500 both really selling into close. And not the exact, but you could see that there's a lot of rhyming right now between, I mean, they went up, we had the divot in the day, went up, and now they're selling. So not, like I said, not the exact same, but a lot of rhyming going on between AMC and IWM. And then we have GME that just sold off and went flat and will probably remain flat into close. Maybe it's power half hour, hopefully. We have about, what, 20 minutes left to go. I see you have Penn Gaming on your watch list. I have the score in their future for the score since Penn is buying the score. Yep, I think that acquisition was announced and going to go through. So some interesting stuff. But Penn, yeah. So Penn, I kind of started paying attention to them when they bought equity stake in Barstool Sports. Just it's one of the strongest media brands out there, and they have the Barstool Sports book now. So I thought it was another interesting way to play online sports gambling beyond DraftKings, which just bought Golden Nugget Online Gaming. So we're seeing a lot of movements and deals being made in the gambling world, the online gambling world. As long as Hood is down too. Shout out Scott. Thoughts on UNH? I think it's a good long-term hold. It's the definition of a Goliath insurance company, has a pretty solid dividend. As long as there's no, let's say, notable shakeup in the world of insurance, at least in the US, I think UNH is going to be a slow grind higher and higher and higher. Oh wait, so anyway, maybe I wasn't reading chat when we got to this part of it, but Oh, 6969 lights. Yeah, we could go for that. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you could drop that like button. And a quick reminder, if you're not a member of the Moon Gang, all you have to do is hit subscribe. For all my friends on Rumble, don't forget to hit that Royal Rumble button. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I made a ton in Penn and BYD last year. Penn went on a crazy run. Penn taking a bit of a breather right now, Penn is, but where is Penn? Like at 70, right? Why isn't it under my recently viewed? Let's throw it up here. Pen, pen, pen. No, I did not want to do that. All right, Pen. Here's its 5-minute chart, but I want to see the daily. What's it trading at? 67. All right, let's get rid of this. Pen, 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 pen. What are you doing? Pen might be one of the ones that maybe it's just at a good enough discount right now. 62. Yeah, I mean, closer to 60. In my opinion, 50, 52 is a steal if you could get it at this support, but it might never be there again. So I would be patient on it, but if it starts to bend back around and especially get above 75, it might be doing its trip back upwards. I mean, man, this was cruising at one point at 142. How's DraftKings doing? Let's talk about our online. Kind of a similar pattern, not the exact same. DraftKings is a little bit more choppy. But even with this, DraftKings getting back above 56, we'll probably see that push back up to 64. And then after that, 74, 75. But overall, I mean, I don't know how to be more clear on this. In a longer term outlook, I am so incredibly bullish on the online sports betting world. DraftKings, FanDuel, Barstool Sportsbook. What are some of the other, like there's various ones now that allow you to do that kind of gambling, but whenever you read about it, it's just growing at such an exceptional fast rate. I don't see how it's possibly a bad play. All right, AMC is at 37, bouncing off of 36.80. GME at 158, IWM and SPY both trying to bounce. So AMC's bouncing as these are now bouncing. What is Hood? I just want to keep Hood up over here to see how it's going into close. All right, we have just over 15 minutes. What else do we have going on? Any other breaking news? Let me see. Breaking news, breaking news. What else do we see? Oh, man. Nothing else. Kind of still quiet. And this might be, I do like the momentum. I would strongly argue that AMC definitely still has some nice, strong momentum. We're really just converting over from a bearish trend to a nice bullish, aka apish trend. But we still are in this summertime, the summertime blues, just kind of waiting for something to like happen. And that's not even really, it is AMC and GME, but it's a lot of just the market. Like there's not amazing setups across the board right now. We're kind of waiting for some trends and volatility and stuff to return. Was it power hour play to move Hood? Jimmy went after you tweet, but Hood did not. What else do we have happening? The NFT community. AMC fun fact, AMC has never had 5 days of green in a row since June 2020. Let that sink in for a moment. AMC to the moon. What else? What else? What else? What else? Unusual options activity on Pfizer, Palantir, Viacom, and WBA. Lots of money on Pfizer. A lot of money on PFE. Holy cow. And Palantir as well. Huge money on Palantir, huge money on Pfizer, to the point that we should probably check them out. Lots of different Twitter accounts are all reporting that. Interesting. It was 10 minutes ago. So I guess people are finally seeing like one day of weakness and they're like, all right, great. We're not chasing anymore. We can get in on Pfizer. Interesting. What about Palantir? Palantir also looking good. Huge money being bet on both of these. Wow. Almost 1 million calls on Pfizer and 685,000 on Palantir. Ethereum pumps. What else do we have? What else? Just seeing if there's any last second news I should be covering for all of you. Is Hex running? Complete the sentence, the most undervalued crypto right now. If I'm being honest, I still don't really know what Hex is. But I want to learn. All I know is I'm in Hex at 8 cents. That's all I'm actually confident about in Hex. I got in actually on this run up, on this breakout. I was a little late to the party in mid-June. I know a guy who trades oil. That's what his life is. He's like, dude, I'm just getting into crypto. Someone told me about Hex. We should look into it. We should buy it. And I was like, you have to understand, in mid-June when this was happening, I was still coming off the high of like what just happened to AMC, and I saw my account and I was like, yeah, like let's do it. Let's buy everything. So I was at a point in my trading career when I was pretty susceptible to everyone's recommendation of what I should just be getting, because I was like, I just crushed AMC. I have some money. Like, what's happening? Like, I felt like I was like in the zone as a trader. I felt like anything I touched was gonna work. Um, so he's like, dude, get Hex. And he's like, make sure you look it up. And I was like, okay, I'll get Hex and I'll totally look it up. Never really looked it up. But I guess it's almost at 20 cents now, which is awesome. So that's fun. That's that's my in-depth knowledge about Hex. So if you happen to know about Hex, like honestly, if it's a scam or if it's completely legitimate, let me know. Send me a DM. You should be like, dude, take your profits and get out. This is a scam. You got lucky. Or you should be like, dude, it's going to the moon. Here's why. X, Y, and Z. Get more Hex. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I bought some. I also staked it for like 15 years. Something about Hex, and you have to stake it. To my understanding, they've basically taken CDs, like classic big bank CDs that like our grandparents used to get, and they put it on a blockchain and they're like, cool, we'll call this Hex. And you have to stake it, or that's how you can get even more money. And I did stake it, and I was like, oh, I'll stake it for 5,000 days, not realizing that that's 15 years. So that money, that random thing, gone, 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 gone. I sent you a thumbnail or idea on DM on Twitter. If you get a chance, take a look. I can make changes you want. If you like it, no worries. If you don't, Brambles, awesome. Brambles, I also know you're in the Discord. You could just, whatever, Twitter DM's fine, Discord DM's fine. All those are good. Matt, you want to see crazy? Look up Unidown Crypto. Unidown? Maybe this is not the right thing, but it just looks like it exploded out of nowhere. What else do we have? Any technicals to watch on the SPY? Good question. Let me go out to the daily on this. We'll look at the next major support, basically. 438, I would say, and then that would be followed by 436. So the next region of support is 436 to 438. I could see it realistically coming down there in the next, I don't know, handful of trading days, and then we'll see if it bases there and comes back up, or if it breaks below that, maybe 431, something like that. Wait, what's the FUD happening in chat? He sold options. When did I sell options? I didn't even sell that. What are people talking about? He sold. What did I say that caused confusion? I profited. I mean, I had calls and calls exercise. I mean, that was at the point that the positions were even live streamed. That one's not even like, yeah, I have to like take my word for it. Like all those videos are still up. You could go see them from June. Um, what? I don't even know what I said. You said you came off the AMC high. Yeah. As in like I felt like I could just trade anything I wanted. There was some options that it expired like in May and stuff. But oh, whoa. Are people thinking I took AMC money and put it into Hex? No, absolutely not. I had to go take money out of my bank account and then get it into like MetaMask and get this Hex thing. There was no. If that's the confusion, I mean, watch the videos. Like all those videos are up. There's no sense in like this FUD is so easily disproven because all those videos are up. You could see it, and at that point, all those positions were there. It wasn't like one day I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell this." I took money from a bank account, had to put it into like Ethereum, and then get that into MetaMask, and then through MetaMask do an exchange. But that just came out of my bank account. Man, people are so. I was talking about like emotionally. I felt like, yeah, like the emotion. That's what I said. Coming off the high, the emotional high of AMC, when you just like crushed a trade and you feel like you could crush any trade. So sensitive, so sensitive. This group, these bots, these people, they're all over the map. A crazy crypto I saw was CXC. I mean, there's a lot of crazy cryptos. A lot of crazy cryptos. I like how the FUD starts as soon as like there's like a little bit of red. AMC down 1.4% and the FUD already kicks back up. Everyone's like losing their mind. Where do these keyboard warriors come from? Like they're like it's like they're giving me all these like hate views. They're like the second I see AMC's red, I'm going to start like my little fingers going again and I got to write my messages. Insane. Uh spy. Where are we going? Spy. All right, 5 minutes. IWM and SPY definitely dragging some market down with it. Dragging it down. What else do we have? Leo rocks. Admits he's a keyboard warrior. It looks like Vegas. Vegas axed him before I could get to it. Red is a distraction from green. Hey, what's up, Matt? Can you check out TZA? It's acting as opposite to AMC, where we can see some kind of indicator. What is TZA? I have not heard of TZA. Small. Oh, it's a 3x. So this is moving 3x the opposite direction of IWM, not of AMC. This is inverse, also then multiplied by 3 of IWM. So these two would be inverse, but the percentage moves in this one would be, that's why it's a 3x ETF. How much higher do you think the VIX is going? I got 20 call for September 24th. Would you hold? So a better question for VIX is really how far do you think the SPY is going to fall? If you think the SPY will continue to fall, you would still want to then be long on your VIX calls. VIX is going to move inversely to the S&P 500. So I wouldn't, I mean, you could do technicals on VIX, of course, but I would be more tied to what's happening in the S&P 500. What else do we have? CXC. All right, I'll look that up a little bit later. We're too close to it. Too close to it. Too close. All right. We have the SPY. Man, the Fed, those statements today are not being received well in the slightest. I mean, coming off of it when you're like, oh, we're not going to do tapering, I think there's going to be, okay, I think it's reasonable to assume that the market's not going to like it this much, but man, it looks like there's already it's such a overreaction. Geez. What else do we have? What else? All right, come on. Come on. Let's close the market. Let's just close it 5 minutes early so people can calm down about this tapering off the asset purchasing dealio. Not liking it. I got an offer for 140 for a chicken nugget on eBay. I'm going to use that money to buy more AMC. I sent you a link on Twitter for a good laugh. All right, I'm excited to check that out. VIX is moving. Yeah, VIX is going to go up as the S&P 500 comes down. VIX is literally the volatility measure. Ugh. Hang on, let me go back. Why can't I just switch this here? VIX. The VIX is literally the volatility measure of the S&P 500. That's what the VIX is doing. So if you look at it, it's pretty much, it's not going to be perfectly inverse, but it's pretty much inverse of what we have going on in the S&P 500. I mean, even look at the recent movements right now. When this came down, this was shooting up. It's going to move. So as S&P 500 sells off, VIX goes higher. Someone was just asking me if it can go to 20. Well, yeah, because I think that there's a chance that the S&P 500, the next major support, I would say, is between 436 and 438, which I think would be enough of a fall to push the VIX up to 20. So VIX, VXX, UVXY, they're all different ways to measure the leverage and blah, 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 different trading assets. For the overall, it's the volatility of the S&P 500 index. Hood is all, what's Hood at right now? How is Hood reacting? Hood is holding on stronger than I thought it would be in this current stuff. What else do we have? Hood shares. Oh, that Dominic, are you just saying stuff that Charlie already put out there? Triple bottom for the day on the 5-minute dip before the rip. This is not what we're seeing in AMC is because of what we're seeing in the S&P 500 because of the Russell 2000. This is not an AMC specific thing. This is the market is selling, including the Russell 2000, which AMC happens to be a part of. I mean, look how similar they are right now. This is not being driven by individual buys and sells on AMC. It's very much going to be tied to the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. Not that I'm wishing for this, but wouldn't a big market correction help push the squeeze again? I'd rather wait to see. It depends. It could help it, but it could also hurt it. It depends on who gets margin called first. The institutions that are long on AMC or the institutions that are short on AMC. It, like I said, could help us, could hurt us. Hey, Matt, is AMC confirming that they will sell McDonald's in theaters? Look at that giant M. What's going on, Dave? I just YOLO'd UVXY puts on Friday, knowing my luck, I'm going to get smoked. Sir Loki. What's going on? All crypto is getting hit as well. Bitcoin to 45,000. Solana's taking a hit. Cardano had a nice run back up to 215, now at 207. Ethereum at 3,000. How is Doge? Doge just below 30 cents. Yeah, it's money is exiting the system, I suppose you could say. Leaving the system. All right, all right, all right. We have a little bit less than a minute to go. A little bit less. Anything article by Motley Fool says Aaron's selling his shares or FUD. He said that he's setting up a 10b5-1 plan. So it's one of those plans where someone else controls it and they pick the dates and the amount share way in advance. But yeah, that was on the earnings call. If you want to know more about it, he's not just like randomly selling one day. It's like an SEC approved plan because I think he's 67. Ding, ding, ding. The market is closed, folks. The market is closed. All right. Here's what is going on. AMC GME looked like they were going to have good days. And then the Federal Reserve was like, you know what? You know how we've been keeping things afloat for quite a while now? We're not going to do that. We're going to taper all of our asset purchasing. It sounds like it's happening a little bit earlier than some people expected. And then the market sold off. Major indices, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the Dow 30, the Russell 2000, all took a hit and dragged all of the stocks within those indices down with it. And unfortunately, AMC and GME were a victim of just red. Just so, oh, hang on. I am curious for a second. I wonder when Robinhood's going to release numbers. So the earnings call is probably within an hour or two, if I had to guess. But usually they release the numbers in like the PowerPoint deck beforehand. So you might see some craziness in Robinhood here shortly as soon as those numbers actually go out. Someone just asked if the market's crashing. No, we're actually not that many days removed from a literal all-time high. So I'm assuming as you're going around on the interwebs, there's probably a pretty good chance that you're going to see some stuff of like some, I guess, like emotionally baiting thing of like doomsday, it's crashing, red. You're going to see that. You're going to see these comments. You're going to see these videos, these thumbnails. And it's just to get some sort of emotional response from you. They either want you to engage with it, watch the video, yada. But just keep in mind, we are literally a couple days removed from an all-time high. And right now, what? The S&P 500 is... I mean, I could talk about this more in my video. It's down 1%. And if you look at the daily chart, 2 days ago, we had an all-time high at 447. So all-time high, we had a weird day yesterday, and then we dropped 1%. I mean, the all-time high is 447, and we're trading at 439. That doesn't really add up to me as being some sort of like crazy doomsday market crashing scenario. So I'm sure you're going to be seeing some stuff of that on social media, on mainstream media, about just trying to get everyone to freak out and panic, and I just don't really think it's necessary. But overall, here's what the plan is. I will be doing an update video tonight, kind of talking about what happened in the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, and then I will give a quick overview like I did yesterday of crypto. I'll dive into AMC, I'll dive into GME, and if at the point that I'm filming it, if the Robinhood numbers are out, I will also include that. I will definitely include that. This is barely a fender bender. Shout out. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I appreciate you joining in. So update video tonight, and then I'll be streaming tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. As you guys are usually expect. So that will be the plan, but thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, as always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.